Do you love slashing through action-packed brawls, dodging bullets, or dungeon crawling while hunting for treasure? If so, it sounds like action RPGs are the games for you. And as luck would have it, we've gone out and found some of the best hack-and-slash ARPGs available on a touchscreen. This selection covers premium, free-to-play, fantasy, sci-fi, but they all have one thing in common. They're a whole lot of fun. Here's the 5 best ARPGs on mobile. Let's not bury the lead. This game is inspired by Dark Souls. We know it, the developer knows it, and if that puts you off, then all power to you. However, for a Dark Souls-style game placed within the constraints of a touchscreen control system, Pascal's Wager is a really impressive and thorough effort. Instead of choosing and adapting class, you switch between several different playable characters throughout the story. The structure of the world and level design is more Neo or Demon Souls than Dark Souls, with each level its own self-contained location. It's dripping in the grim grey and heavy fog of the underworld as you'd expect, and the abominations it throws at you are suitably gnarly and repulsive. Not as tough as its inspiration, but a healthy challenge, a satisfying combat system, and a worthy mobile Souls-like. There's been a few versions of Titan Quest over the years. After all, it originally launched way back in 2006 on PC. But this version has all the bells and whistles, including all 3 DLCs from the previous platform releases. You'll be smashing your way across the globe through Greece, Egypt, Babylon, and China, coming face to face with the mythical Titans. You've got your sword, your bow, your magics, and even some pets to keep you company along the way. It's long been compared to Diablo, and it's easy to see why. There's a class system, a hefty single-player campaign, tons of enemies to slay and items to grab, and, of course, plenty of grind. But it's a fine example of the genre, especially if you want an ad-free, no-gacha, premium ARPG experience on mobile. Punishing Grey Raven popped up on app stores last year and made an immediate impact. It's not just the visuals that make it stand out. This slick sci-fi offering makes grinding look impossibly cool. The game sees you forming a team of constructs who are tasked with taking out the punishing virus that's corrupting the world. With its memorable character design and incredibly impressive combat animations, it's a stunning thing to look at. The enemies are unusual and unique, and you'll even get to explore their stories in-game hidden chapters. The orb power-up battle system, where you stack up glowing spheres mid-fight, is novel, and you'll want to build up your roster of characters and gear just to see what will be unlocked next. It's a world worth exploring, and one with more than enough tasks to keep you busy for hours on end. Speaking of Souls-likes, Grim Valor shows its own Miyazaki influence in its macabre creatures and brutal, unforgiving world. But here, the vicious vibe of undead misery is injected into the body of a 2.5D side-scroller. It owes as much to 16-bit games as it does to From Software's more modern franchise. It's unflinchingly tough, always ready to punish you, and doesn't care how much progress you lose when your corpse hits the floor. Thankfully, it keeps the controls pretty streamlined, and unlocks new moves and attacks at a healthy pace. Chaining together a slick series of slashes, dodges, and jumps is incredibly satisfying, but by no means easy. The gradual powering up of your character is thrilling, but never makes you feel invincible. You'll encounter some legit chunky bosses as well, but the game gives you what you need to defeat them. The trick is to learn how to use it. Darkness Rises is, in some ways, a fairly generic fantasy hack and slasher. It's got the swords and beasties, the castles and the crates. But when the polygons are in motion, it's really striking. And for the most part, it gets its violence just right. The complexity is well tuned to the touchscreen, with a few support skills alongside a big button for attack combos. It just about manages to avoid drowning you in floating icons, which is nice. Of course, the big emphasis here is on the numbers. You'll be tinkering with your gear and stats to ensure you're tough enough to trounce the next nasty in your path. While it handles fine, don't go in expecting face-melting combat. This is about the math, the planning you engage in before you draw your sword. It doesn't do anything super new or reinvent the wheel, but it is an engaging grind that's very good at encouraging you back for one more battle.